the question narrows to not where can you issue those securities, because you can issue basically most places. The issue narrows to which bank are you going to use.
Hello everybody, this is Value.Tokenized with CryptoTwins. It's been a while since we last interviewed a lawyer, and that's why today we invited Ziv Keinan. Ziv is an Israel-based commercial tech attorney with significant experience in corporate and securities laws, as well as blockchain, cybersecurity, and privacy. Hi Ziv, we're super glad to have you here with us at Value.Tokenized. And can you start by introducing yourself and telling a bit about your business, what you do with security token space?
With pleasure. And also, I'd like to say that you have a wonderful program. And I watched some of your episodes with amazing people, with Joe Lau and with Matthew Unger. They're both amazing. I know them, and I think you have a really wonderful program. I start with introducing myself. So, like some of your interviewee, I'm a corporate and a securities lawyer for the past 12 years. I also done some cybersecurity and privacy laws. I've been around in the blockchain community for a while. In 2013, I had a friend who was involved in the Mastercoin ICO. I think it was one of the first, if not the first. And I used to hang around, those circles of Bitcoiners and cryptos, but I was never really involved until 2017. And 2017, I had my own practice, which involves mostly around cybersecurity and privacy, and I had the opportunity to work with a client who wanted to do an STO. It was back in the days when I think nobody knew what a security token is. There was really few players. Spice was there, Securitas was there, Polymath was there, Harbor, but not many players in general, and I don't think that many people knew what a security token was. So we started working with this client, and after a while, we engage all kind of other blockchain companies. And today I'm working in the blockchain space with the DAO companies and with some blockchain for impact project, which is the project which I like the most.
And so you're based in Israel, and can you say that Israel is a crypto-friendly country, and what's the attitude towards securities tokenization is there in general?
So it depends on what you mean by a crypto-friendly country, okay? I think that Israel is an amazing place for blockchain companies. There's more than 200 blockchain companies here, and blockchain companies in 2017-18 raised more than $1 billion here in ICOs and private issuance. So definitely a huge blockchain scene, a lot of technology, a lot of bright minds, people coming from the cybersecurity space and the army and financials into the blockchain. And as far as regulation goes, I think that regulators understand the potential of blockchain technology, and with time, I think that we would see more friendly regulation, and I'd be happy to talk about it more as we go on with the interview.
Okay, and for example, is it hard to open a bank account for a company that's related to blockchain or crypto?
Like other places in the world, the banking system is very, very cryptophobic, you can say. Yeah, it's very difficult opening a bank account for a crypto company, for crypto companies. I had the experience of working with a client for 4 months, and eventually we did open a bank account. we sold millions of dollars of blockchain, of Bitcoin, and deposited the money into the bank account after a KYC process, which was very, very diligent and thorough by the bank. But I was very happy. It shows that the bank knows how to manage the risk and not just avoiding it. I was very happy that we got to this situation. And also today, you have the option of going into a sandbox. This is something that really just starting. And in the sandbox, I think one of the things that they promise is that you will be able as a blockchain company to open a bank account.
Can you tell in general what regulations apply to utility and to security tokens in Israel? And do you see any issuances of security tokens, of tokenized assets happening in Israel?
So I think, first of all, it's a great question. Utility and security, I think everybody's asking that. Israel is not much difference from other places like Europe and the US with respect to the difference between utility and securities. If you sell something as an investment agreement, if there's expectation of profits, it will most likely be classified as a security. We haven't seen Israeli Securities Authority was not active against ICOs as was in the US. But I think that it's important to notice the evolution of the regulator in Israel, for example. So in 2014, they issued a paper, all the regulators together saying, you have to watch out for ICO. This is fraudulent. It's used for money laundering, arms dealing, like very scary paper. So immediately all the banks stopped working with the blockchain companies, and there was like a halt. But later on, I think the regulators started doing this conversation with the industry where he started learning about what's going on in the blockchain space. I was a part of it also. I was a part of a report that we filed for the Bank of Israel, and I wrote the taxonomy chapter there, explaining different terms of blockchain. And then last year, Israel Security Authority issued like an interim report, very long report, 120 pages, that was basically a study of all the crypto market and was designed to show that they own it, they're studying it, they understand the power of the technology and what we can do with it. And just lately, last month, they published the final report. And there's some things that are very interesting in this report. One of them was the sandbox that we discussed. They want to start a sandbox. Other thing is a security token market. They want to allow to have a security token market, to have a licensed one. Today, there's only one licensed stock market in Israel, which is the Tel Aviv stock market. Another thing is they want to allow crypto crowdfunding. They see the potential in crypto crowdfunding. There's crowdfunding regulation in Israel. And they also see like a designated disclosure, and they want to start a fintech innovation lab. And I think one of the most important things that we saw from them is that they actually updated the strategic plan for the next 5 years and devoted the whole chapter to fintech technology, implementation of fintech technology. So I don't know if it's the hype, who caused them, to change their views, or do they really believe in this technology? But the fact is that a lot of good things is coming from Israel with respect to blockchain and fintech in particular.
And do you see a lot of interest coming from like both companies and investors in any kind of tokenized assets, like both in Israel and interest, for example, in what's happening in this field in US or Europe?
First of all, there's a lot of interest. Okay, I think I was one of the first who started working this field in Israel for sure, maybe globally. Sam Katz and I, we registered a domain and security token lawyers
Yeah.
in 2017, and we went to the States, and I think um, I think that there's a lot of interest. The only thing is that Israel is more perceived as a market which exports technology than a market that uses it. So I'm not sure that I really seen a company that started or tried to do an STO here. Okay, in Israel, I know the Israeli-based company managed or other that filed for example, for the SEC to register prospectus and issue tokens. And there was some active in Europe, but I haven't seen anyone actually file or trying to do a STO in Israel. I guess this is mostly for financial reasons because it's like a relatively small market to Europe or the US, for example.
Are there any advantages of small jurisdictions when we're talking about issuing securities?
In general, yes. In general, I believe there's some there's some there's some advantages for those islands of Gibraltar, Malta, for those small islands. And I think the regulators there, they have more freedom, and that's why they're allowed to attract more investors and more companies there. But you have to remember that the fact that because it's such small places, actual islands, then they're not really looking to protect their own investors, okay? Because the investor would usually come abroad from overseas, okay? So they have all the interest in the world just to have regulation, which is very easy. This is not the state in Israel. Israel sees itself as part of Europe, as part of the US, and it's not. And the regulator here is really following up and cooperating with all other regulators. So it's very regulated area, and not much like Malta or Gibraltar, for example.
And if a project, like an Israel-based project, comes to you saying that they want to do a security token offering, where would you recommend to do it in the first place, and which factors are important to make this choice?
So security token offering, unlike an ICO, and I think this is a very important thing to remember, is not something which is not regulated or which is which you have to run to like the far edges of the world to escape the regulator. Okay, security token you can actually do out of the EU, out of the UK, and you can also register as a US company and do a security token offering. There's states in the US which are very crypto friendly, and also you have regulation D, 506C, 506B, which was discussed in your show, that allows you to issue exempt securities. So I think that the question narrows to not where can you issue those securities, because you can issue basically most places, except for China and South Korea, for example, would have security exemption, where you can offer for example, for accredited investors. However, the issue narrows to which bank are you going to use, because a lot of jurisdiction where the bank just would not cooperate with blockchain companies. Never mind if it was a security token or not. And with that, you will just need to examine a lot of factors like where do the founders sit, and where they are planning to offer the securities to, where it's going to be sold. And according to those factors, you have to decide where to incorporate the entity that's going to issue these tokens.
And what projects do you think are at the moment most worth watching in the security token space?
I want to say something. I'll say something about securities token, but before that, I'm going to say something else. Okay.
Okay.
I don't like to focus, for example, only on securities token. Many of my clients, for example, are developing different technologies around that, around the blockchain space. For example, DAOs technology, DAO decision-making technologies. And I'm a strong believer in the concept of decentralized autonomous organization. If the viewers don't know that, and privacy using zero knowledge proof. Those are two killer implications of the blockchain. With respect to securities tokens, you can see that Securitize is leading the way they. And they really deserve it. Okay, they started really early on. I'm pretty biased because I have some friends that are working in Securitize, and also, but I really like this company. I think they're really professional. They have also Jesus Rodriguez with advising them. That of course is amazing. I would wish that they would become more open sourced and less proprietary with respect to their protocol. But I think they're doing really amazing work. But there's also a lot of others in this space which are great as well. CoreConnex by Oscar is amazing. And Philip Piper from Swarm is doing amazing work. I don't know if you know him. He's based in Europe. And they actually offer you to do the STO for no additional fees. And they're really great. And I'm going to host Oscar and Philip and Securitize at my panel at Barcelona Trading Conference, and Carlos Domingo. Wow. Sorry, Carlos Domingo. And in July, the 10th of July.
And stepping aside from tokenization, you are very active in impact projects. And one particularly interesting includes Cryptobased Universal Basic Income Project, Good Dollar. Can you please tell us more about this initiative?
Yeah, for sure. So I think the first thing that I need to, the message that I want to convey for the viewer is do a social for impact project. Really, if you are a company, if you're a bigger company, then have your developers dedicate 10 hours a month for social for impact projects. I think it's important, not only for us as humanity and the challenge that we have as humanity, but it's also wise in a business sense. Okay, because it opens doors, it brings you to a very good places, and I would really recommend it. So in a social for impact space, blockchain for impact space, I've been involved for the past 2 years. I had my own ventures in this space. I'm ambassador to the wonderful IXO Foundation that sits in Switzerland. I'm advisor for FinTech for Good, and I'm legal lead for a Good Dollar experiment, which is a very interesting project coming out of eToro, which is a large FinTech company, which incubates and supports it. And soon we will incorporate a foundation, and this project will be managed by a foundation. The idea behind it is that there's billions of people today in the world that doesn't have a bank account, doesn't have any access to financial services. Those are named, quote, quote, the unbanked. And actually, if you're poor, there's no way that you will have any access to the financial system. And the fact is that the fact that you don't have access to the financial system doesn't mean that you don't have a financial life. For example, you could be like you could be a farmer in Africa or in somewhere else, and you grow your crop and you sell it, and you grow and you buy grains and you sell the crop and you grow it and you buy fertilizer, but everything is done outside of the banking system because no bank would accept you when you don't have, for example, a passport or an ID. Okay, so those individuals currently exist outside of the financial system, and Blue Dollar says something very simple. So we're going to create a protocol. Each of those person can link to, most of them has a cellular phone, either it's an advanced smartphone or a dumb phone. But the idea is that you can link to our app, website, download the app, and get some good dollar. And those and this like create a huge achievement. Suddenly you having something which similar to a bank account, and you have something which is similar to a currency which you can exchange with other people. So this is the idea behind it.
And do you think that blockchain technology can become, in one way or another, a democratizing force for the world and the people?
Well, this is such an amazing question. It's an amazing question. So 100%. As I said before, we as humanity have goals that we need to achieve. The UN called them the Sustainable Development Goals. Means that you need to achieve no poverty, end of hunger, fight climate changes, and there are several technology, for example, DAO technology, that will allow us to cooperate as humanity and to achieve long-term goals. One of the companies working on that in Israel is called DAOstack. I think they're doing amazing work. And what DAOstack is saying is, as the organization scale to a very large scale, this technology, this DAO technology, would support it to achieve its goal. So I think 100% blockchain technology can really assist us in achieving our sustainable development goals.
Yeah, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
This was Value.Tokenized with CryptoTwins. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to our Twitter to watch the videos in short Q&A format. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and please feel free to ask our speakers questions in comments. See you next time.